Hello and welcome to episode 75 of Champion the Gamer. I'm joined by Bear, which you just established is proper. How are you, first of all?
Very well, thank you, sir. Thank you for having me on. How are you?
I'm very well. I'm excited for this because you are a pillar of many of our consumption, and you've got a story that I think a lot of us want to hear. Tell everyone what you do, first of all, and how you got started.
So for the past 5 years, I've worked in photography and filmmaking, predominantly in professional wrestling, which I've recently retired from because I've got a baby on the way. But I still need a creative outlet. I've streamed for the past 5 years on and off. I started during COVID, as so many people did, and I've dipped in and out and dipped in and out. And since retiring from the professional wrestling side of things, I still wanted a creative outlet. So I've jumped back on the streaming, and I've been having a truly wonderful time with it.
Professional wrestling. What were you? So were you a? Let's tell us about that. What were you doing with the professional wrestling side of things?
Predominantly a photographer. But then I started the more photography that got going. I realized there was kind of a gap in the market for more video work as well. So I ended up doing a whole bunch of filmmaking side of things, not just recording live events and matches and all of that kind of stuff, but doing the more cinematic side of things. There's a lot of storytelling in professional wrestling that can be told outside of the ring to build storylines and build angles and build people's characters up. So I did a lot of that stuff, which was very, very fun. I got to travel during that time. I got to travel all over the country, almost got the opportunity to go internationally, which would have been awesome, but it just never came to fruition. A lot of miles on the clock up and down the country. It kept me away from home an awful lot, which is why I've decided to knock it on the head. I may go back to it one day, but at present, I want to be home more, want to be present for my wife, for my future daughter. So, yeah, but done some truly incredible things in wrestling. Got to work with guys that I grew up watching. I don't know if you have any knowledge of wrestling, but I've worked with people like Gangrel, Scotty 2 Hotty, people who are a bit more current and recent. I've worked with Matt Cardona, previously known as Matt Ryder in WWE. I've worked with some mind-blowing people and shot the matches of people like John Moxley in warehouses in Wolverhampton. It's phenomenal. At the end of that show, I got in the car with my wife. I was pulling thumbtacks out of my arms. It was a very brutal, very bloody match. I had the blood of both of the competitors in the ring on me. And she took one look at me and went, "You're covered in blood." And I looked at the mirror. I was like, "Oh, yeah, I am. But let me just pull all of these pins out of my arms first," because they were strewn all over the ring. And when you're running around ringside and you're planting the camera down, trying to get those, you want to get that perfect shot. You think about the pain and, you know, the mess afterwards. The art comes first.
You're bang on right there about some of these guys. Like Scotty 2 Hotty has done a lot of the circuit in Europe, hasn't he?
Yeah,
and
massively.
He just loves it. Absolutely,
he does. He's now touring with his son,
Yeah.
and they're like tag teaming together, which I just think is like, what a wonderful full circle moment. What an amazing thing for him. Like he's a wonderful human being. I've got to chat with him a couple of times, and he's just a wicked down to earth person. And you can tell how much it means to him to be traveling the world, kind of sharing these experiences with his son while he's still got it in the tank. And that's just awesome. I think he was on Ring of Honor a couple of nights ago.
Quite possibly,
They're filming in the UK at the moment.
Because I was going to say, what's cool about, and I won't divulge too much into, or divert too much into that, but like the whole what was that? Unreal, the WWE thing, about the whole behind the scenes thing. I think it's class, because one of the best things I've had in wrestling in the last 5, 6 years, 7 years is the up, down, down Xavier Woods stuff.
Yeah.
Because you're seeing the real people. So you understand it's them and they're having fun with it, and then they're making stories. And that makes it better.
I don't like it though. Like, as someone who's worked in the business, I love it because I get to see like those aspects of the business that I've been exposed to on that massive, massive level that is WWE. But as someone who works in the business or has worked in the business, I would always preface saying to fans, if you're going to watch it, be prepared to have your enjoyment of the product taken away a little bit, because then you'll start to view it more as the business and less as a fan watching it for the stories and the escapism. There are parts of that WWE Unreal that I was like, I really wish fans wouldn't see that, because it just takes away from the magic of it.
I guess I'm with you, but I also think there's a thing there where like we take movies as stories.
Yeah.
And we understand that there's someone on a treadmill behind a runner holding a camera.
Yeah, of course.
We understand there's that. So I don't know. I just think it's a bit of a taboo subject.
At the end of the day, people can choose to watch it or not. But yeah, like there's just some element. I don't know. It's just a very old school thing. There are some elements of the business that should be away from prying eyes, just to maintain that sense of wonder for people. Like, it's a work, it's scripted, but you allow yourself to suspend your disbelief. Something like WWE Unreal kind of hinders your ability to suspend your disbelief a little bit more.
I guess so. I guess I'm just thinking of it as like okay, the 70s and 80s, you got all the stories of Aku beating people up in pubs.
Like, we
don't need any of that stuff to protect the business. We just
Very true. Very true.
Yeah. But that's fascinating that you've been into that field, though, because it's giving you a different perspective on filmmaking and on photography and on how to create an image for yourself, right?
Yeah.
Where does Bear come from? Where does the image of Bear Vision Gaming come from?
Bear Vision, well, the origins of Bear is my wife just for a long time has called me Bear. And when I was trying to come up with a decent name, I started as Ace the Bear, which is my real name's initials and the Bear. And then it just developed into Bear Vision, which when I started saying it out loud, I was like, I really like that. And it just kind of stuck. And then I just decided I'm just going to continue using that name, that kind of identity, when I move on into streaming and whatnot, because I'd already kind of grown a bit of an audience with the photography and the filmmaking. I thought there's no point making something completely different to open up that avenue that I want to explore. So we'll just rock it with the same name.
I just think I like the idea of having a persona, because people will notice by now, to open the business up a little bit, I'm actually Martin. But I've been called Marl for the last 33 years, probably. A lot of stuff. I like the idea of having that persona that people can latch onto. How have you found meshing that in between the two? So you've had the photography and filmmaking side of it. You're now into the gaming streaming side of it. Where does the gaming portion come from? Has it always been in your...
gaming, yeah. I mean, I'm coming up on 37 years old, so my first console in my household.
So you don't look 37. Just want to put it out there right now.
No, I know I've got a wonderful baby face, but I've got a terrible hairline and very vast amounts of grey hair. Getting quite. I'm less salt and pepper and turning a bit more silver fox over here.
Nothing wrong with that.
No, there isn't.
If I had a silver beard, I'd love it.
Yeah, very much. But I can't grow a beard. I'm fluffy everywhere else. That's why my wife calls me the Bear. Because I'm big and fluffy, but I just cannot grow a beard to save my life. No, the first console. The first console I ever had in my household was an Atari, which I loved. I would spend as much time as humanly possible on it. The next upgrade that we got from there, I remember my mum took me and my brother up to Woolworths. There's a little flashback for some of you older folks. Took us up to Woolworths. She was like, I need to go up there. I need to get a couple of bits. So we went up there one day and we were walking past the video game section where my brother, we were, meerkatting, looking at all the new shiny things that we could never afford. And she walked past the end, which had the promotional offer for the N64 with not N64, the Mega Drive with the 6-in-1 cartridge. And she stopped and she went, oh God, what did I come in here for? I can't remember. And she picked it up and she went, we'll just have one of these then. And me and my brother lost our minds. I don't think we got off that thing for the next 48 hours. If we were told to go to bed, we go to bed, but we weren't sleeping. We were thinking about just getting up, getting down there, 2-player on Streets of Rage. Wonderful time. So yeah, video games has very much been a large portion of my life.
How many get? So I've got a couple of 16 months myself because I've got cartridge back there.
Yeah.
But has that stuck with you the whole way through, or have you ever had a kind of break from it and gone back to it again?
I don't know. I'd imagine like as I turned a little bit older, started going out drinking, that kind of thing, it probably took a bit of a back seat, but it was always there. There's always been consoles in my home. There's always been an emphasis on gaming. It's where I met it's where like loads of me and my friends really bonded over things. My first love in life is professional wrestling. My second love is gaming. Don't tell my wife.
Oh yeah, I mean, I asked that question because I mean I've had conversations before with people that have taken just deliberate breaks, but I
Mhm.
wondered if jumping into the streaming side of things has reignited that love again, or if it was still there beforehand and it just sort of flowed naturally.
Streaming helps me enjoy video games more. I know that seems really weird to say, but I don't know what it is. Maybe it's because I am ADHD as balls. I really struggle to concentrate with video games sometimes. Even if they're really, really good, I will still be thinking about 101 other things, easily distracted. You pick up this bloody thing all the time. A loading screen comes up, you go, just check my socials and that kind of thing. But when you're streaming, I find I can't do that because there's an expectation that I can't just sit here on my phone scrolling and stuff. I have an audience. I'm trying to entertain people. I'm trying to present a game to other people. So it helps me enjoy video games a lot more. But it's always been there very much. And throughout COVID, I think I fell in love with gaming all over again because I had so much more time to sit up till 3 a.m. playing Warzone. I think we were all doing that in the start of like 2020. And it was because of how much I was then gaming. I was like, I'm going to try streaming. I'm going to give it a go because loads of people seem to be doing it. A bunch of my friends were like, I'm thinking about doing it. And I was like, I've got no wrestling going on. I've got nothing else to do. I still want to be creative and learn more technical things. I'm a bit of a potato when it comes to technical things. You give me a camera and I'll work some magic. But when it comes to setting up for streaming and stuff, I was like, there's a gap that could potentially come in handy in wrestling for live streaming events and stuff. I'll try and learn that. And then I started and people actually watched and I went, oh, okay. So I did it more and more and more and more people watched. And I went, I'm quite good at this. Okay. And I fell in love with it. I fell in love with the whole process of streaming. I fell in love with the connections I made and the people I get to talk to. And yes, it's a wonderful freaking time. And that's all thanks to video games. Like it's a shared passion of video games that brings people together.
It's the best juxtaposition of what I've taken as a stance because my concern of doing streaming is I feel like I could do it. Obviously, time's a big thing anyway, but I think I
Yeah.
could do it if I had the time to do it. But my concern is always if I do it, am I going to enjoy the games as much? Because
Yeah.
I'm having to sort of put on a role of playing this game rather than just enjoy it on my own. Whereas
Yeah. Yeah.
actually, in actuality, what you said probably correct. And I know we
Mhm.
had Josh on, he said the same thing. You might enjoy it more because you're enjoying
Yeah.
it with us. And that's the best way of of looking at it.
It
What
forces me to pay more attention. Like, as I say, I just can't get distracted. Yes, of course, there are large portions of the game that I will miss because I'm looking at chat and I'm talking to people. But it's still, I think I still enjoy it and get so much more out of any game by streaming it than sat alone playing it.
what are some of the challenges you've come across?
Some of the challenges, uh, I'd
Is
say
there
one
any
of the
that you think that you didn't expect that you might have come across?
there's the regular side, the regular challenges that I think all streamers will come into. If we're talking about the streaming side of things, there will be times when chat's quiet. You have a very quiet stream. Not many folks come in. That you can get up in your head about that, but and I did in the early days. I'd be like, what's the point of this? Like, I'm not providing any value to anyone. Nobody's coming to watch. So And you can get a bit down on yourself and think you're not doing good enough. And you can either take it as a negative, or you can look at it in a positive light and go, okay, so if people aren't watching, let me check my stream summary. Let me see where people dipped out. Let me see what I was doing then that made people go, this is boring. I don't want any more of this. The challenge comes in if you're serious about wanting to take it to that next level, you have to change certain elements. I don't like to change too much because at the end of the day, I don't want it to not be authentic. I don't want my presentation to be an inauthentic version of what I want people to see and consume. Some of the challenges just come from time and financial. Like, streaming is expensive. It's very expensive. There is an awful lot of gear that you need, but right now I look pretty good to you, right?
Yeah.
My ring light was 15 quid off eBay. Those lights behind me were 15 quid off eBay. Those RGBs behind me on that shelving unit, they were 7 quid. Like, you don't have to pay through the nose for things. The biggest expense is video games. As a variety streamer who wants to present, there are some games I don't touch. I have to try and niche down, as people say all the damn time. But at the end of the day, I'm not the kind of person who would play Warzone 3 days a week, 8 hours at a time. It would destroy my brain. I'm far too ADHD for that. I need variety. And in variety comes expense, because video games are very expensive. That's one of the biggest challenges, is being able to fund being a streamer, not just from the technical side of things, but actually the games that you want to play and present.
One thing I've loved about these conversations is I don't want to bring the mood down for people, but it's just the understanding that, like, even the most successful streamers have come from either, when I say humble beginnings, I mean literally from ground zero, because they have.
Yeah.
But like, there is that period where you need to be consistent and understand it is a grind.
Yeah,
like, there's going to be challenges in time availability, in, like, say, what stuff costs, or you might have a period where stuff's slower. Like, everyone's moaning at the moment about TikTok views. It's like everyone's going through the same thing. Just be consistent.
Yeah.
It'll even out at some point.
Like,
Yeah.
so I'm one of the biggest challenges. Go on.
No, you go.
One of the biggest challenges, if you're streaming on Twitch, for me, which is where I've streamed predominantly for the past 5 years, is there is no discoverability on Twitch. If you're just going live on Twitch and you're not posting elsewhere and you're not doing all of the things that people will preach at you to tell you to do, then you're going to fall flat on your ass, because you're going to sit there, you're going to get frustrated that nobody new is coming in saying, hey, how you doing? You've got no footfall going through your channel because there is no discoverability there. The past 2.5, 3 months, I've been pushing heavily on TikTok, which I resisted against to begin with. Like, I think so many people do, because you have this idea in your head, no, I'm going to do it my way. I want to do it my way, not how other people are telling me to do it. Because I've got that really annoying thing in my brain where if someone tells me to do something, I usually do the opposite. Yeah. But I've steered into the skid and I've gone, okay, let me give this a try. And it's been wonderful. Absolutely wonderful.
But you can still do that, going with the flow of things in your own way.
Yeah.
Like, the videos you put out on the shorts you put on YouTube, let's say, or something, different ways of doing it, you can still be you on those things.
Yeah, of course you
don't
can.
have to conform to the YouTube shouting man format. You can be you still grab attention in your own way. So and TikTok videos, let's talk about that real quick, because we're following the same pattern of someone does my job better. The questions you pose and the way you pose them, where's inspiration come from and why are you so good at it?
I'm just a naturally very curious person. I love to hear other people's experiences. So I sat down and I was like, of course, I was sat there and I was going, how can I grab people's attention on TikTok? And how can I start to, of course, like, my main goal is to drive footfall to my Twitch. That's where I want to create the main body of my work while on this streaming journey. But also, like, there's an opportunity there to connect with people, which I have done with yourself, for example. So I was like, how do I get people to stop on my videos? Like, initially, when I first started, I was like, I'm just going to post gaming clips. And then I quickly discovered that gaming clips don't do a damn thing without context. So I started then, before posting a gaming clip, I would record 10 seconds beforehand explaining what was happening or posing a question about X, Y, or Z. Like, anyone else scared of mannequins like this? And then I was like, oh, that got people talking and talking about their experiences. And then, much like how we started this podcast, you asking me about my early gaming memories and how I got into my love of gaming. So I was like, I want to know other people's stories. So it started off with like, what are you playing right now? Because I was genuinely looking for new things to play. Everyone can tell that my content isn't content farming or engagement farming even, because I literally read and like every single comment because I'm naturally curious and I want to know these things. And if people comment negatively or give someone else shit for their opinion, I'll delete it. They're just shouting into the void. I want people to open up discussions and actually share this love of gaming, because TikTok is a very bap, 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 you know, ADHD, memory of a goldfish kind of app. I wanted to create scenarios where people would stop for a moment and read comments and engage with each other. And that's actually happening. I'm kind of running out of questions I could potentially ask.
That was my thing, because you're preaching to the choir. Because when I first started on the app, I was like, that's what I want to do. I want to create a space where people can come and have a good, nice conversation about the games we love or games they love. And so you are literally explaining in a better articulate way what I was trying to accomplish. And I got to the point, like you just said there, about I can't ask a question every single day. I'll run out. So I need those extra bits and bobs on top to be a bit more of a selling point. But at the same token, like I said, it's just about discussion for me. I love what you do because it's literally what I wanted to do in the first place.
Yeah. I want to hear other people's stories. Like, some of my favorite videos I've put up there, and I call them videos, not just TikToks, because at the end of the day, it's still a form of media. I hate the term content. I hate the term content creation and consuming content, because it's such a blanket term, and it makes it all seem so small and diminutive. Like, I create videos, I create art, I create media. Those are the things that I've started doing back then. It's what I'm still doing now. Some of my favorite ones of when I've asked people, what are your earliest gaming memories? What's the first console you remember owning? And people just freely sharing stories like I shared to you about my mum buying us a Mega Drive. And that just puts such a massive smile on my face and people sharing like stories about loved ones who have passed, but they have that memory of them, the core memory in their head because of gaming and their shared experiences with that. And I'd read some of those comments and be like, that's a phenomenal memory for you to hold. Just as a human being on this floating rock in space, you have that memory that's really fond. Just you hold that close to your heart. That's amazing. That's truly freaking amazing to me.
And one thing extra I love about it as well is there's a few of us, there's loads that do question videos or ask questions on these different things. And people can get up their backs a little bit about, if I ask it on a Monday and then by pure chance you put out the same question on a Friday, right? Someone can get aggy about that. It's like, why? We're going to get two completely different sets of comments.
Yeah.
And then let's face it, if I ask a question in January and then ask the same question in February or March,
you'll get a completely different set of comments, different responses. Different people will have watched it. At the end of the day, there are 9.5 billion people living on this planet right now. And so many of them have phones, and so many of them are trying to create on all of these different platforms. There's only a finite number of ideas in the world. We're all going to have so many similar ideas. The difficult thing is, for me, with TikTok, I think, in a sense, TikTok almost sets people up to fail, because say you put out all of your best, you find your niche, you find what works, you find that thing that really hooks people in. You then use all of your best content before you hit that 10K, before you hit being able to monetize these things. And by that point, TikTok has made an awful lot of revenue off you from ads and whatnot. And now you're kind of scuppered, and your content will probably change, especially now people have to, if you're in the creator fund, you have to make minute-long videos and you need verified views and all of this kind of business. I kind of feel as though like the progression path that TikTok has in place, it's very obvious that you can start to sell things on TikTok very early on. You can make the money that way, but to actually be monetized to a meaningful point, you have to make it to that really large. Same on YouTube. Getting monetized on YouTube is a long old journey, that one. And again, you will probably put out your best content before you're ever monetized, and they don't backdate it and go, wow, look at all those views you had before. Now you're monetized. Here's all that money that you made. No, there's none of that. So if you're ever getting into this to make money off these platforms, you're in the wrong place. And unless you're very, very lucky, and you have a really unique, really authentic product that people connect with. But it's getting people to connect with it, especially on an app like TikTok, where it is just mindless scrolling.
And so much of it, you said there, is the word luck.
Yeah.
You know, you can put the same video out twice on different platforms and they get completely different.
Yeah, I've done it. I started posting on TikTok and YouTube, and TikTok would do really well. YouTube would do nothing.
I put a video out last week on TikTok. It's got like 500 or something ridiculous, like 500 views, something like that.
Yeah.
But the exact same video on YouTube, about an hour later, it's on 5,000.
Yeah.
I'm like,
it's a lottery.
It's ridiculous. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's not even that good a video.
No, so it's just a lottery. If there's one piece of advice I could give to anyone who wants to create media and put it out into the world, I see so many people in my comments when I've spoken more on the streaming side of things. So many people going, I want to, but I'm scared to put myself out there. And it's like, if you just do it, if you just forget about, if you have a word with yourself and go, nobody gives a shit about me. Like everyone's all up in their own heads to be worried about what you're doing. So just do your thing. Just put it out there, because I'll be scrolling through TikTok, and this is one challenge and one really frustrating point. You can be scrolling on TikTok and see the most mundane bullshit brain rot video, and it's got 1 million likes. It's got 1 billion views. And you go, here I am making all of this effort to create something meaningful. And, you know, a sponge rolling down a hill has got 1 billion views. Like, what am I even doing with my life right now?
And you got to understand everyone's got different circumstances. So you can put out a video that, like you said there, it's got a lot of effort, or maybe it hasn't, but there's video you're proud of. And it's good content. It's good whatever.
Yeah.
But someone puts out a mundane thing, but every video they get has got double your views or whatever, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But you got to look at it deeper. Some people put out videos that get, let's pick a number, 500 views, but they get 50 comments and 50 whatever, right? That's
of course.
Someone else puts out a video that's quote unquote worse, potentially, but they use promote all the time. And they get triple the views and half the interaction. So it's just like it's an ever evolving situation, isn't it? Yeah,
of course. Like that, they heavily push the TikTok promote. And I do think that when you start doing well, like I know every time you open that app, it's somebody talking about the algorithm. The algorithm, to an extent, is an entirely random lottery. It's just a random number generator that you are throwing yourself into. You've got a free ticket and you're just taking the ride, you know? But if you do start to gain traction, there is a nefarious side to all of these apps. I do think that if you have a few videos back to back that are doing really well, and then the next one is even better, and it should do even better, and you get 230 views, and you go, ah, shit. So you scroll for 3 seconds, and you've got a TikTok promote. Promote your stuff. You'll get loads of views, and you're like, So did my video flop, or did you make it flop?
Yep. And let's take that energy on to the next portion, which is hot takes and solid debates. We love a good hot take every now and then. Have you got any gaming hot takes?
I don't think I really have hot takes. I just have...
Everyone's got a hot take, pal.
I just have opinions that are my own. I think that microtransactions are killing the gaming industry. I think live service games are a dreadful fucking idea. Although I've loved for the longest time Warzone, love it, but greedy companies piss me off. Simple as. The love of the game isn't there. I'm sure there are phenomenal developers working for these big companies that take pride in their work and they want to put out a really phenomenal product for people to enjoy. And then they're choked by higher ups going, well, we've got shareholders that need a bonus this Christmas. So let's really push the microtransactions, pay to win kind of bullshit. All of that kind of stuff pisses me off. Another hot take I would say of mine, I hate streamers getting early access to games. I think that's having a massive impact on people's enjoyment of video games. I see it every day, people going, games are just shit these days. Now you're just overexposed to it before you ever get your hands on the game because you've watched your favorite streamer play it. So when you're playing it, the experience doesn't feel like yours anymore. It doesn't feel like your unique, special experience because you've already experienced it vicariously through somebody else. I think it has a massive impact. I understand why they do it for marketing. Like giving out free copies to big streamers to play your game is better marketing than any TV advert. But I think it hinders people's enjoyment of games massively.
I don't know where to start because I'm happy you mentioned a couple of things. Let's start with the second part. We said about overexposure. I agree wholeheartedly. It's my playground argument. You had a game that you might have one and I might have one. Two completely different games, but we didn't have both. So we chat on the playground for a week, and then at the weekend I might go and get yours or go around yours and play it.
Sir.
And it builds that playground hype. I didn't know about that game until I actually played it. Right? And that's missing. That's why I say the ability to miss is missing in gaming because you've not got that chance to be away from something and have this own like built up in your brain experience.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
So there is all of that. And then in terms of the streaming side of it, I do agree because I think there's too many situations where these streamers get the game and are almost not forced, but I mean, in some cases they are, but in some cases they feel like they have to like it or have to put out a certain viewpoint on the game just because they've got it rather than giving
they'll be paid. They'll be paid to give good reviews. And some streamers with a lot of integrity, like Co-Carnage, will always say, I will give my honest review of this game. And he'll never take a, under the table payoff to go and say, yeah, it's a phenomenal. You should all buy it. But so many people do. And especially like, I know there's been controversy on TikTok over the past couple of years of big TikTokers pushing these games because they've been paid to.
One of my like go-to things always has been about documentaries because at uni, weird tangent, at uni we watched a documentary and the lecturer was like, what perspective is this from? And they were saying, what a person that made it. And he was like, yeah, exactly. Every single video you see, every single documentary, TV show, whatever it is from the director's perspective or the person that wrote it. So no matter what you see with a game that's released, if you review it and I review it, it's from my perspective. No matter how objective I try and be, you've got to take into account the person's actually touched it themselves. It's their view on it. Right? Yeah. And that is what happens with the games now. Because so many people have these opinions, it affects how I think about it before I've even seen it.
Yeah, of course.
Go out and play it yourself. Go out and try it yourself. Yeah. How often? I mean, I think you might have said a video recently, but how often do you play a game that's objectively shit? But you love it. Yeah. You don't get those experiences anymore, do you? Really?
No. But again, with all of these apps, like you will see so many gameplay clips and footage, and you're fatigued, and trailers. You're fatigued by a game before it's ever even released, and there are so many games that come out, they've got massive hype behind them, or maybe they've got doctored hype behind them, and it's been pushed a certain way to make more sales, because that does happen these days. Like the feeling of when I was a kid, terrestrial TV in the UK, I had 4 channels. There were no video game trailers on TV. you just went to Blockbuster or you went to Woolworths and you saw a game and it had an IP you were interested in, like Earthworm Jim, because you watched the cartoon, so you're probably going to like the game. Fucking loved that game. It's phenomenal. But if when I was that age and I saw it plastered all over the TV and all over my phone, not that we had phones back then, you just go, I can see what it's all about now. Like, there's no intrigue there. There's no mystery of getting a game and going, oh, I wonder what this is all about.
I mean, I normally ask this in coaches' questions if I get the chance to, but I'll ask it now, just out of pure curiosity. What was the last game you bought on box art alone?
Ooh. God damn.
It just extrapolates your point, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. I cannot remember. I simply cannot remember.
That to me is a massive part of the game that's yeah, you can see icons on Game Pass, but it's a massive portion of the game that's missing. That experience of exploration and discovery. Of like, oh look, there's a dragon on that box. I want to try that. Whatever it is, right? You don't have that same. That's a really bright color red over there. What's that?
Yeah.
You said it earlier about being in Wolves and doing the meerkat.
Yeah.
Looking. That's what it is. You get overcome with all these different colors and striking pictures and stuff.
Yeah.
And you try a game you never even thought of.
Yeah, definitely. But again, like, we don't have the video game shops on the high street anymore, do we? We've got CEX. Some towns have got 2 or 3 CEXs, but there's no game, there's no GameStop, there's no small independent places where you can go in and find maybe something obscure or rare that you haven't heard of before. There's just none of that anymore. It's just download it off the store.
I mean, I'm lucky that I've got my local. I've got a CX in town, but I'm local. I've got a local store as well, and he's classed at grabbing things for me or sourcing things, and he's just a really great guy that does it all. But like, there aren't many that are that lucky to have that.
Yeah,
it's just sad state of affairs, really.
But it's the Netflix effect, isn't it? Like, how many times have you sat down to watch Netflix? You're trying to pick a movie and you sit there for an hour of your life scrolling, trying to decide what to watch because, I might enjoy this one more than that one. I haven't heard great things about that one, even though I'm intrigued by it. There are so many things in the gaming side that relate to that. It's like you will sit there sitting at your Steam or whatever library, Xbox Game Pass, and you're just like, there's too much choice, and human beings are dreadful at making decisions.
Exactly. You can't see it on the video, but behind this bit here, in that direction, there's a shelf. I've got my big, massive shelf of stuff. There's a separate shelf that's about a foot wide, and it's got what I'm currently playing shelf on it. Because I need that. If I come into this room and I've got an hour spare, I need to know roughly what I'm going to be playing. I don't want to sit down. I don't want to sit down for like an hour and waste the hour.
Yeah,
so I do get it completely.
Again, going back to the streaming thing, that's another thing that I have a plan in place of what games I'm going to be playing next, and I put it to a vote in my Discord and the Grizzly Bastards, as I call them, the Escapism crew, wonderful fucking group of people. They get to choose what happens on stream next. And that way it takes the decision out of my hands. I'll throw some suggestions and people will go, yeah, that cool. I know what I'm playing. I don't play a lot because of time constraints and working and being a husband and, being a son and all of these things. I don't have a lot of time outside of streaming to play games. So I know what my plan is and what I'm going to be playing next, which is really helpful. I don't sit there anymore in front of a massive long list going, I can't be arsed. I'll just go and scroll on my phone.
And the worst feeling of all time is you're sat at work or you're out and about and you think, actually, I really fancy playing that today. And you'll get in and you forget that, or you'll be part of a massive block of stuff.
Or you're like, oh yeah, I really want to play that, and then just the desire's gone, and you go, I did a video about that. It's like you at work all day thinking about that game, and then you get home, and you're like, I don't have the brain for it now because I've used all of that at work. Just let me sit and be a vegetable for a bit.
Well, let me do the question bit, which is what I'm excited for. So we do coaches questions. So as you do, I post questions on my page and I throw 2, 3, or 4 guests in front of me and get the reaction. So first question is a Thanos question. Snap your fingers and change one thing in gaming. What is it?
remove microtransactions. Simple as.
Is it as easy as that?
Yeah. Just have companies forget that microtransactions are even a concept that is possible, and just release fully fledged packaged games for people to enjoy that aren't rinsing people with pay to win and all of that kind of bullshit.
Do you also then remove like DLC or added extras, or do you have
No.
games come out as they are and that's it?
That's a fair question. Fair question. DLC, it's not a microtransaction though. It's not that little nugget of extra you can get for just a small price. A DLC is usually 2/3 of the price of the full game. I mean, I would love it if that DLC was just included to begin with and you just got a bigger experience to begin with. But no, it's a very fair point. I'd have to consider that a bit more.
Well, it's only because sorry to cut you off. I have this thing where we're not Thanos. We're not going to get rid of this stuff anytime soon.
Yeah.
So I keep trying to find ways of making not an argument for them, but a way in which we can actually have them and they're fair. Never happen. But I'm like, is there a way we can strive for where these things are possibly fair? Can you have a certain tier on Game Pass where you pay for the Game Pass price, but there's a tier above it which is an extra, let's say £5 a month, and you get it all included? Is there? I don't know, a union you can build that's legislative. Is there something you can have that makes it fair on people? I don't know.
So my Thanos snap would just be to, okay, you can keep microtransactions because, some cosmetics and stuff are cool. Just take out pay to win.
Pay to win.
Just take out anything that's pay to win that gives people an edge over other people because they chose to spend an extra $14.99.
So I mean, shout out to Good Game Dan, but he said like Fortnite's perfect because it's essentially a free game up front, and you can play it free, but anything else that's on top is aesthetic. It's not like it's affecting the actual game.
And I've got a lot of respect for Fortnite for that, and they have continued to hold a player base. They've continued to do incredibly well. I've played a good bit of it. It's never been massively for me, but I have, especially the no build, I really enjoyed because it is just a bit more of a grounded experience. I can't be dealing with somebody building a full Italian villa with a pool and a basement in front of me, when I'm just trying to shoot them in the face. But no, they've done an incredibly good job of just anything you can buy extra. It's just cosmetic.
What is something that you cared about in gaming 5 years ago that you don't care about now?
Ooh.
I love every single time I have that to the T so far, everyone's pondered at some point. I'm doing my job properly.
I don't care about mindless multiplayer experiences anymore. I used to absolutely love just jumping on CODs and grinding weapons and camos, and I couldn't give that an extra moment, a millisecond of my day anymore.
Just play a bit of devil's advocate. Well, I mean, I agree, first of all. I haven't played online majorly for the last probably 5 years.
Yeah.
Has streaming affected that?
No, I think age has affected that. I think as I've got older, I mean, I always loved having an N64 and grown up with like Ocarina of Time. I've loved single player open world games to get immersed in. My favorite games of all time are Skyrim and Red Dead 2, and they're very personal experiences. I have very fond memories of those games. I couldn't pick out a specific memory of any time I was just running and gunning on a multiplayer map on COD. Yeah, all right, you're having some laughs with your mates, but it's still just, it's just filler. It's just time-killing experience.
I mean, some of my favorite memories are from Halo Forge, just because you can create endless new memories. It's not the same stuff. But just to finish off that point with one more question, have streamers made online worse? Has Timmy Toucans laughing and joking his way at killing people on a modded quad bike ruined online gaming?
No, but I think
it's not fair on Timmy Duke. I actually like Timmy Duke.
It's very much encouraged the live service games more. I think people have be due to streamers. Let's take Warzone streamers, for example. Studios have so much more pressure on them to constantly be adding new things because all of these streamers are very, very vocal online. We need that new update because at the end of the day, they're trying to earn a living. They want to make new content. So they need those new guns. They need the new maps. They need the new changes and the updates because they're content farming all of the time. That, I think, kind of does have a negative impact on gaming. This constant mill of content farming. I see it on TikTok all the time of people going, just don't even stream. Just record yourself playing a game, fake it if you have to, and just make up funny moments and post them online. Like, I'll only post clips if I personally think they're funny or they have some form of value. I think we're in this desperate need for growth stage where people are, it's just all about clips. It's all about content. It's all about farming engagement. And that has come very much from streaming, I think, because that is how you grow. But it's not how you really grow organically. It's how it's a quick buck. It's a quick fix. It's a lottery. So yeah, I would agree that to an extent they have had a negative impact on gaming.
I mean, you can extrapolate that to anything really. Like I'm a basketball coach, and all the kids now that play. So let's say we have a club that's got 2 sessions a week, so they're playing 1.5 hours twice, so 3 hours a week, right? They're with you for 3 hours. You can train and do whatever you want to do for 3 hours, but they love basketball, so they play on the park every day.
Yeah.
Who are they watching? They're watching these guys on YouTube that are doing trick shots and doing everything.
Yeah.
And then they try and imitate those. They're not playing the team-related basketball you want them to play.
No.
Weird segue, but I wanted to get out there because it is the same thing, isn't it? You're looking for the highlight.
Yeah, they're not going home and watching.
Growth.
Yeah, they're not going home and watching the league, are they? They're not watching NBA. They're watching clips on YouTube of people doing mad shit. Same as footballers and whatnot. But in the era that you and I kind of grew up in, you'd be watching those matches. You'd be watching great people who are incredibly skilled play the game in a team way, and you could learn from it. Now everyone just wants to hit that next big clip to make them go viral.
Which dormant franchise would you revive?
Oh. Siphon Filter.
Oh, very nice.
I have very fond memories of those games when I was a kid. Just quotes that you and your mates would say to each other on the playground. Siphon Filter was good. I was a big fan of that. But again, like so many of these things, if you remade them now, would they hit the same? No. Sometimes it's better to leave those. Though I say that, the Oblivion remaster was phenomenal, and I had a great time with that, even though that's a very fond core memory of where I fell in love with open world RPG games. And getting to play that again, it's that weird thing, isn't it? Is like playing it now with the visuals we have now. It's almost like I remember it looking that good because back then your imagination took over so much more. Whereas if you look at the original, you're like, oh my God, that looks like a spud. That's an actual potato right there.
I almost feel like the imagination side of it's underappreciated because games can look, and it sounds ridiculous to say out loud, too good.
Mm-hmm.
It's a part of your brain that you can. It's like the whole play. My missus works in nursery, so that whole thing about the ability to play. Like, can you imagine stuff? Can you build your own worlds? Can you? Can you imagine yourself as a kid flying at the playground? Like, it is a skill actually.
That's why my stream has an element of role play about it. I make people use their imagination. I play D&D. I'm a dungeon master. I like to try and encourage people to use their imagination. So I like to try and encourage people to see the Clubhouse as a living, breathing thing. Like, I have all these different scenes set up that give people enough visuals that they can see themselves there. And I will use terminology to support that. So when you come into the Clubhouse, you forget about all of your external bullshit, the things you're worried about. You embrace the escapism. You use your imagination. You allow yourself to become immersed in the community, immersed in the game or whatever I'm presenting at the time. I think imagination these days has gone out of the window because we've got so much visuals presented to us all the time that we don't need to imagine things as much as we used to when we were younger.
Really quickly, Clubhouse. Wrestling reference?
No. Sons of Anarchy
Okay.
reference.
Oh, okay, yeah, I'm with you. Because I think of the Bullet Club. I'm thinking of the Judgment Day.
Yeah.
A whole range of people have used it, but
no, I've always loved motorbikes. When I was a kid, I wanted to be a member of an MC. I used to ride not a Harley, sadly, because I couldn't afford one, but a nice cruiser motorbike, which was sadly stolen, bastards. So when I started streaming, I didn't have any identity like that, and it grew and grew and grew, and I was like, what kind of really exclusive club to make people feel like they're part of something and have people feel a certain kind of way can I build for people to feel part of? And I was like, motorcycle clubs, but with a gaming twist on it.
Couple more quick ones then.
Mm-hmm.
What was the last song or a song that got stuck in your head because of a game?
Down by the River, Baldur's Gate 3. I'll sing that at least once a week, brother.
Yes.
That'll come out at least once a week.
My guy. Have you played Baldur's Gate 3 a lot?
I have, yes.
My guy. I knew we could be friends. But do you know what, right? I was going to ask you about what I don't need to because you alluded to it earlier, but I was going to ask about like short games, in your preference, short games that are replayable versus an 80-hour epic, right? Baldur's Gate 3, and I've said this before, is a really weird uniqueness because the idea that we haven't got a lot of time, especially as adults, playing a big game is hard because you can't invest in it. Like, I'm never going to finish an Assassin's Creed game. Well, I will do, but right, or whatever, right? It's just too big. Yeah. But actually, Baldur's Gate 3 is different because they've reignited the immersion. Because I can play it for an hour, have zero fucking idea where I'm going to be going.
Yeah.
Just push the directional arrow in one direction and find a completely random encounter with a new character and build my story for an hour. It's a different escapism, isn't it?
It is. But also, Baldur's Gate 3 did that thing, like I was talking about earlier, where they just released a fully fledged, encompassed game. They presented it to people and they went, there you go. They've updated it and fixed things ever since. They've done way more to it than anyone ever thought they would, which is phenomenal. Also, Baldur's Gate 3 is not filled with all of the bloat that so many other games are, with unnecessary crap. Like, there's lots of exploration available in Baldur's Gate. There is lots of different avenues you can explore. There is so much available to you, but it's all meaningful. I tried to play Assassin's Creed Shadows. I love anything feudal Japan. I love samurai. I love ninjas. I like all of that stuff. But I got so fatigued like 30 hours in because it's just, go and clear out this place. And it's like, I've done that 30 times. I don't want to do that anymore. Give me some story, please. There is all of these games these days are filled with so much bloat to try and make it a longer experience so people feel as though they're getting more for their money. When if you cut out all of that bullshit, still have a bit in there, but meaningful for exploration and that's actually rewarding to people. Not, it's just a purple level katana rather than a red level katana. Like it's just it's pointless bloat chucked into a game. It's like that's why Red Dead 2 is one of my favorite games of all time, because even all of the little things that happen, all the things you happen upon, all of the little side quests, they all still have meaning and they like develop the characters.
I mean, I haven't, as is well famous now on this podcast, I haven't finished Red Dead because it's too big. But exactly the same argument for The Witcher is the contracts. Is every single contract is regenerating new.
Yeah.
And it's
I never finished The Witcher. Never finished it. It was just full of too much fluff for me.
Yeah, but then I guess what I'm getting at is you can create your own world out of it because the contracts that are regenerating or generating themselves, they mean something. Everything's got a little story, and it's just, I love it.
Yeah.
And then final one then, really quick, one word or one name answer, just gut reaction. Who's your protagonist you can't stand?
Protagonist I can't stand. Ethan out of Heavy Rain.
Ooh, okay.
He's looking for his son and he's just bitching and whining the entire time and not doing anything constructive. And I love that game. It's a phenomenal game. But oh my God, I wanted to reach through the screen and throttle that man.
People get on me about Batman. I'm like, Batman's an arsehole. Like the Batman in the Arkham games, which I'm going to try and play again. I promise people, I will promise I will. He's a whiny, sarcastic nerd. Like, just no, I'm not having it. Let's move on then to the last bit, which is
Mhm.
creator spotlight. So your chance now to shout out the creators you really enjoy, or if not comfortable doing that, completely fine. We don't need names, but
Mhm.
just give us an idea of the content you enjoy and why you enjoy it.
I would like to shout out you, firstly, because you're doing a phenomenal thing. At the end of the day, you are putting a spotlight onto smaller creators and you are giving them a platform to A, tell their stories, B, promote themselves. You're doing a wonderful freaking job. All right. So I would first of all like to shout you out.
You can come back.
I am a bit of a dick because I don't watch many streamers because I don't have a lot of time. It's as simple as that. So I put out posts saying, drop your Twitch links because I'm looking for people to raid, but I don't watch lots of streamers. There's a few people. There's a woman named Vandra O, Vandraoh. She's phenomenal, horror streamer. She's been doing it for years now. Truly just wonderful human being, great community. There's a few others. There's I can't even remember her handle. I only know her as Nap Monster. Also streams on Twitch. Phenomenal human being. She's a mother. She's a streamer. She's just an all-around, just stellar person that you would, just trust with your life. Phenomenal person. If I've got to shout out anyone, I've just got to shout out the amazing people that support me, like the people in my Discord, especially my mod, Gale Prime. I have one mod. He's phenomenal. He's literally created our Discord from the ground up. He is a technical wizard. Yeah, wonderful human being. He used to stream, and I wish he still did so I could shout him out properly in this forum. But no, he doesn't anymore, sadly. But he was there from day one. He's one of the people who inspired me to start streaming. And yeah, he's just had the backing of myself and the Clubhouse since day one. So yeah, wonderful human being.
It's nice to hear that perspective, again, articulated better than I ever could, about, because you see a lot about follow for follow and the quote unquote support people give each other. I'm like, it's lovely if, if I follow you, you follow me type thing. But if I'm following someone, I want to follow them because I want to follow them.
Yeah.
And then they need to give, it sounds horrible, they need to give me something I like consuming.
That's the thing. I've done videos about this. Streamers need to stop marketing themselves to other streamers because streamers aren't watching other streamers unless they're watching you because you're a friend or because they just genuinely really like your content. Streaming takes up an immense amount of time. So you might have people who will, while they're creating their clips and stuff, they might have you on a browser muted on the right. That's not support because you're not there, you're not engaging. You need to be, if you want to market yourself and push your stream to people who are going to watch you, your target audience is not other streamers. Follow for follow is false economy. It does not work. You might have hundreds of thousands of people following you, but if they're all streamers, you've got 3 people in your chat. Nobody's going to watch you if you market yourself to the same people you're competing with, because at the end of the day, that's what you're doing. You're trying to offer a product to people that is of a high enough quality that they choose to spend their time watching you and not somebody else. It sounds cutthroat, it sounds horrible, but most people have only got one TV in their living room. You're all competing for that one screen space.
And quite frankly, my brain can't take thousands of different, if I like someone, I'll follow them. I'm not saying I won't. And there's guarantee a million percent there's guys that I've recorded with AJ this morning,
Mhm.
who'll be out of the following episode.
Yeah.
And I said to him, I felt really bad because we're messaging back and forth on Twitter, on TikTok, arranging this recording, right? And I said,
Mhm.
it come up with follow back to AJ. I felt really bad because I was like, I swear I was already following him.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
I am watching his stuff, but I
Yeah.
just wasn't clicking that button. So there are people like that as well, but I just
Yeah.
don't have the energy to follow 15,000 people. I
No,
just
and
don't
you
have the
just
energy.
can't keep track of it as well. And all
No.
of this follow for follow. And then someone might post something that you don't morally agree with, and you go, oh, no, I'll unfollow that person. And then it becomes a whole thing of, well, I followed you, and now you've unfollowed me.
Yeah.
What a bastard you are. You're not doing
Yeah.
the what is it, work together gimmick that everyone was doing, grow together. Like, it's false economy. If you want to grow, the only way to do it is to create something good and put it out into the world. It's as simple as that. Not everyone's going to like everything you create. Most people probably won't, because if you're doing something really good, people will be jealous of you. And so many people will try to benefit from, they'll try and ingratiate themselves with. And, it's just false. It's not going to get you the kind of engagement that you want if people are only liking your stuff because it's quid pro quo. You scratch my back, I'll scratch yours. It doesn't work like that. That's not organic.
I had a conversation with Elmondo and on the podcast actually, and he said, because I was saying like, if you're number 75, if I do 100 of these or I do 200, however many it is, right? I could finish tomorrow, who knows? But at some point, if you do it long enough, someone's going to clip something and make
Yeah.
it look like it's just going to happen. So it's about
Yeah.
being yourself and being positive and being productive
Yeah.
consistently. And that
Yeah, of
message
course.
stands. If you are just a genuine arsehole looking for, follow clicks or support, whatever the phrase is, it's
Yeah.
not going to sustain itself.
No.
Like if I had a conversation with Ava Bonello, if she had a wedding recently, she
Yeah.
has obviously planned well enough to have content coming out. But if she has
Mhm.
a month off, she's got a community there that will go, that's fine, we're still here, whatever. But if you do that support for support stuff and you have a month off,
Yeah.
they're not staying around, are they?
You're forgotten about. You're
Yeah,
gone. Yeah.
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 Um, okay, so do the bit that I love, which people don't, but I do. Why should someone be following you?
Someone should follow me if they want to follow me. If they enjoy the media that I present and put out into the world, that's why they should. If they are looking for escapism, because we champion escapism, everyone on this earth needs escapism sometimes. There's a limit. You shouldn't engage too much or you lose touch with the real world. But if you want escapism, a tremendous crew of people who are incredibly supportive and a high quality stream and product with a bit of a knobhead presenter, follow me. Follow Bear Vision, get yourself in the clubhouse, get a drink at the bar, relax and unwind and forget about all your worldly woes. There we go. There's my plug gimmick.
The lovable arsehole. You're not, by the way. Just because I was going to say it's what I love about this question is people can have their own view of themselves, but it's obviously how you're perceived a lot of the time that matters to growth because it's the frank reality of it. But you've obviously had this experience in the past that's helped you build this, and I think some people don't understand that it's not an overnight thing. A lot of people have success or growth because they've had experience prior. No matter what that experience is, you've had a background in filmmaking and photography.
Mm-hmm.
Different field, obviously, but it's helped you with this. You understand how to
Yeah.
present yourself, what matters and
Yeah.
what doesn't in some cases. Whereas some people come onto apps like Instagram and TikTok and stuff and expect that quick click overnight stuff.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
never
It's
going
never
to
going to
happen.
happen. No.
And I was just, if people go and check you out, it's got that feel of accomplished in terms of looks great, it's, whatever. But you still maintain that level of groundedness and openness to new people. And that's a rare
Yeah.
thing to
At the end of the
achieve,
day,
really.
like my stream, I call it my stream, but I'm not the focal point. It's why I hate people using the term community as a buzzword, as a selling point, because they don't mean it. Like I did a video a while back, just being very honest about it. So many people say, I want to make this and that and the other as a selling point when you can tell they're not 100% genuine. I'm not the selling point of my product. My crew The community of people who regularly come back and watch me, they drive me forward. They keep me coming back. I don't keep them coming back. They keep, over the past 5 years, I've had hiatus after hiatus after hiatus as I, followed my dream working in professional wrestling and got to do amazing things. And every time I came back, the same people were there every single time. And as that happened over and over again, and I learned that every time I come back, it's those same people. The reason I kept coming back, it was for those same people. And it's them that make people feel really welcome when they first come into my stream. It's them that make people feel really welcome when they first come into the Discord. It's the people that drive Bear Vision and the Clubhouse forward.
Only thing I'd say, and I've had this a few times, is, and it's funny because this in itself is a reason why they should go and follow you. You saying that speaks volumes because, okay, yes, you have a breakaway for whatever reason, and you come back and there's these wonderful people that are there through thick and thin sort of thing. They're there and they're the selling point. But you got to remember that they're there for a reason, right? So you obviously providing them something they really enjoy.
That's what I've always focused on. I used to feel when I got affiliate and people would subscribe to me, I never felt as though I'd earned it. I don't think that anyone really deserves anything. You get what you earn. Now I'm at a point where, and people still don't talk about the financial side of streaming and being monetized. Like even people talking code and try and use nefarious tactics. I don't. I'm a very blunt and honest speaking individual. I created a product of a high quality purely for selfish reasons, so that if someone chooses to spend their hard-earned money to subscribe to me, support me and my channel, I want to feel as though they're getting something for that. Not just, I know there are some amazing, generous human beings on this earth that will restore your faith in humanity. But when I remember I got 50 gifted once off an old friend of mine, I had never felt more uncomfortable in front of a camera, in front of an audience. I was like, I don't deserve this. So I worked my tits off to create a product and provide something of value so that if someone does choose to spend their money in this freaking economy to support me in my endeavors, that they're getting something from it, that I can sit there and go, they've done that not because they feel obligated, but because they've gone, yeah, I've watched 100 hours of this guy streaming and I want to support him. And I can sit there and go, wicked, you've taken value in what I'm putting out to you. So much so to the point that you want to support with your own money. That's insane to me. I will always be massively fucking grateful. And it's very much a case of now I have a product that I'm putting out that if somebody subscribes, I don't feel uncomfortable anymore because I feel as though my product is at a very good place.
And once again, twofold, it comes under the bracket of that attitude alone is part of the package. You know, some people that are openly saying they want to make money from this sort of thing or a career out of it, and you can tell it's not.
If that's your main ambition, you're in the wrong game.
Yeah, but some people, quite frankly, because whether it's luck or it's just whatever the reason is, they do make a career out of it. But you can tell, right? Whereas some people have that amazing ability and amazing selling point of, yes, we know they're kind of chasing that dream, and they will work their, like I said, they work their tits off to maintain it, and that makes them a person you can follow and get behind because they're real and they're authentic, and so it's quite an endearing thing. Have you got goals or aspirations for what you do?
I have a ridiculous goal right now. My daughter is due in 2.5 months, and I am putting it out into the universe to try and make Twitch partner before she arrives. Purely because we're now in the 3rd trimester. It's a very anxious wait. And as a man, I'm not doing the hard work. My wife's doing the hard work. So I'm kind of on the fringe. All I can really do is support her as much as I can, go to work, earn the money. She's still working as well. My wife, if one person I can shout out, it's my fucking wife. All right, excuse me for swearing. She's doing just a phenomenal job. We never thought we were going to be parents. This has happened. and we're trying to go through it together. And, you know, she's experiencing things through pregnancy that are completely alien to her, like any first-time mother is. And she's just bossing it. She's doing a phenomenal job. Just truly. I love that woman. She's amazing. So I'm just on the fringe, and I've given up wrestling, and I'm putting as much time and energy as I can have into streaming. And because over the past couple of months we've been doing amazingly, someone said in chat, like, God, you can make partner at this rate, and it's stuck. And I've been like, I don't like to focus on the numbers. What I focus on is I'm getting to a point now where I'm actually missing messages in chat, which I don't like doing. I like to be able to read and respond to everyone. And I'm like, oh, we could do this, you know? And ever since I got that thought in my head, I was talking to my wife about it, and she was like, just put it out into the world. Why not? The worst thing that happens is you don't achieve that. But imagine if you did. You see it on all the time. People just put the dreams out onto the internet, and sometimes the internet does its thing and people come through and they support the vision. Their vision.
There we go.
It might work. And I was just like, she was like, it'll give you something to focus on, because I'm just anxiously waiting. I wish I could do more. And I think to myself, like, of course, anyone would love the opportunity to making partner. Doesn't mean it's going to pay all my bills, of course not. But if it meant that I could take a few less hours at work and I could be at home more with my wife, with my new daughter, like, I've already got a very good someone commented on one of them saying, just get a job. I have a job. I work my ass off. Like, I've got a very good paternity deal that's coming up, and I get to spend a lot of time in the early months with my daughter and supporting my wife, which is amazing. And this thought in my head of, what if I could just have more? What if I could really make a go of this, freeing me up to be home so much more, you know, not going to work, and because I'm going to be moving on to the night shift to, you know, so mum can take the days and I can take the nights, because she's not a fan of being up throughout the night. She's not equipped. I'm more of a night owl. You know, that's going to have an impact on my wife and I and our relationship, because we're going to be like ships in the night. I was like, imagine if we could just make a go of this, and it would just free up that bit more time for me to be here, be present, be a dad, you know? So yeah, I'm striving for partner. Okay. I'm putting it out into the world, and I'm seeing, I'm just gonna see what happens.
Well, there we go. And obviously the first thing to say is massive congratulations.
Thank you.
Exciting times ahead and lack of sleep ahead.
Yeah.
But like I say, you said about earlier about deserved and what's earned and what isn't.
Mm-hmm.
If someone is deserving, it's yourself, isn't it? Because of the work you put in. And I think that should speak volumes about the type of person you are. And he said about manifesting things. Listen, I said to Cy White last week, if I can become a panelist, lead panels for these sort of things,
Mm-hmm.
and why not say it out loud? Why not?
Yeah, put it out there. You don't know who's watching. You could be one repost away from millions of people seeing what you're up to. Don't be afraid to tag those people you want to work with. You can only shoot your shot. The worst thing they can do is say no. And then who knows? Down the line, you might make enough noise that person then turns around and goes, yeah, I want to work with you. Let's work on something. You just don't know. Just put in the work.
Before we finish this thing, because I've loved this to bits, and I can't wait for people to hear
Likewise.
it. Is there anything you want to finish with? Maybe let us know where we can find you. If you're on YouTube or anything, let us know where we can find you.
I am on YouTube. I'm going through a bit of a weird transitional phase. Obviously, I did a lot of YouTube work around wrestling. So I was stuck on this idea of, I've got, a few hundred subscribers on YouTube. I was like, do I then transition into the gaming things, or do I start a new one? But I don't think I'm going to start a new one. I've got one channel, which is Clubhouse Clips and VODs. That's just for clips and VODs, funnily enough. And then my regular YouTube is just Bear Vision on YouTube. Very easy to find because you'll see my big dumb face. On Twitch, it is Bear Vision Media. On TikTok, it is Bear Vision Gaming. I'm trying to change that. I've got 2 TikToks, one for wrestling, one for gaming. I'm trying to get rid of my wrestling one so I can just have Bear Vision blanketed across, because I've got a lot more followers on the gaming side than I ever did on the wrestling side. So yeah, if you want to find me, I'm not that hard to find. You'll see my big dumb smiling face on one of these profile pictures somewhere.
Big dumb smiling baby face.
Yeah, baby face.
Yeah, basically. This has been tremendous, my friend. I've absolutely
It's been phenomenal. Thank you very much for having me on.
No, of course. And I implore people, go and check out your page. I never say to someone you have to follow someone, but if there's someone that I share, it's because I honestly do follow them and enjoy them.
Yeah.
And it goes without saying that what you offer, as you said earlier, as a product, it's top notch, and people should be checking it out ASAP.
Wonderful.
We'll end it here. You've been episode 75, and I'll catch everybody on the next one.